Yeah, it sounds like he's done quite a bit of research.
Work. I think he quit his job. That's all he does.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, they had some real great ball players among the Misses at that time down there. For Yoshikawa, Kenzen, they're the two leaders.
What were some of the first games that you remember seeing? Did you ever see a game when you were a kid? Some of the Japanese American games?
Well, yeah, back in Vacaville.
Okay.
That's where I was born, and my brother, older half brothers used to play.
Oh, when were you born?
1918.
So you used to watch your brothers play?
Yeah.
You have older brothers?
Yeah, they were. My father was married twice, and he lost his first wife. Well, my brothers from his first wife, they played baseball for. In those days, every little town had a Japanese baseball team. And Vacaville was one of them.
So what were some of the teams that they played? Do you remember? What other towns came in?
Well, I know we played Susun. That was just a small community too, but mostly all Japanese ranchers. And Susun was a ranching community. I guess Vacaville was too. But they didn't have community truck farmers. Aside from Susun, I don't know who else they. Oh, Loomis. I remember Loomis. But I don't remember. There must have been many other more teams in that, but I just don't remember. So we moved out of Vacaville in 1927, so I was only 9 years old.
When you moved out?
Yeah.
Where did you move to?
We moved to Cordelia.
Where's Cordelia?
Cordelia is, well, if you go on Highway 80 and you come down off the hills after you get past Vallejo, you come down into Green Valley, and Cordelia is right there. It's just before you hit Fairfield, Susun.
So how long were you there, Cordelia?
We were there till 32, March 32. We moved to Santa Fe, Coyote.
Do you remember watching the games in Cordelia? Do you have any teams there?
No, at that time, I don't know whether Susun had a team either. But, hey, this is Depression years. You don't go any place.
So you're here in 32. Did you ever go out to the Asahi field or over to the? Did you ever go to the one on 6th Street, or were they not using it?
No, I think it was there. The sumo dojo was there, as I recall, but I never went to any of it.
It was always set up for sumo?
Well, there was a fence around there, and you could see the thing. Yeah, I don't know. But that's all. I never ever went in there, so I have no idea what it looked like.
And then as a kid, you didn't really go out to the Asahi field?
No, because we lived out like Coyote. And no transportation then.
It's way out there, yeah.
You didn't have free time either. You worked.
So how did you wind up getting on the Asahi team?
Well, that time we had moved to Santa Clara.
What year was that?
I can't remember. We must have moved to Santa Clara in 35, sometime in 35. Let's see, yeah, late 34 or 35 we moved there. I'm not really positive, but the only way I remember is I stayed out of school my senior year to work on the farm, and then went back to school in September of 35 and graduated my class in 36. That's the only reason I remember we were in Santa Clara. Other than that, I don't know.
You stayed out that 1 year because your dad just needed you on the farm to...
Yeah, we had berry farm there. During the winter, there's no income, so I used to go out and prune, and they had a lot of pear orchards around there, a lot of prune orchards, so we did a job pruning. Had some income.
So
that must have been winter of 34. That's probably the year that we moved.
And in about 36 you graduated. Where were you going at that time?
Well, I I was going to a private school in Oakland. It was a prep school for theological seminary. And in Cordelia, I was exposed to Lutheran religion, and because one of my classmates' father was a Lutheran pastor. And I guess they wanted me to become a Lutheran missionary to Japan. So they offered me free tuition, room and board to go to the school.
Ah, so you stayed up there.
So yeah, so I went to school in Oakland.
Did you come down on the weekends, or you pretty much just stayed up there for the semester?
Again, you guys are born too late. You don't know what depression is. Okay, you got no money, so.
Yeah.
One of my classmates at school there, his father was a deaf and dumb minister. He'd come down I think it was twice a month, to preach to a deaf and dumb congregation here in San Jose, and the church was on San Carlos, in that corner there, so it was a Lutheran church. So I get a ride down with him, and I would get a ride back with him. So that was the only time that I could come down there. I didn't have ever had any money, I don't think, to get on the bus and come home, things like that.
So when you took the ride up, that was when you played ball, or just go shopping, or?
To do what?
When you came in with the...
to go home to help on the farm. No, we never had any chance. So those days, nothing until, I think, it was after I graduated. First year after I graduated, I had no contacts and all, but then the following, the following fall, yeah, I joined the Nito Club, played basketball.
So what year was that? Was that like 37?
That had to be, I don't really remember. I think it was winter of 36, I don't really remember. It was 36 or 37.
So it was after you had graduated?
Yeah, after I was out of school. But things were a little bit better then. It's not like in the late 20s and early 30s. In Taparavi, I don't know if you're even aware of it, they had a huge longshoreman strike in San Francisco in 33, just when our strawberries were coming out. We had no market. Nothing moved. The Teamsters were on, they weren't on strike, but they wouldn't cross the picket line. And the only place you could sell strawberries in those days was the San Francisco market. San Francisco open. There's no way of getting it out there. So you try to sell a few things out on the highway, but you don't have the traffic you have now. So it was kind of rough.
So it must have been really kind of tough deal to decide to stay out of school, or your dad told you to?
Yeah, he needed the help to get started on this new place there. It was right on the corner of Scott and El Camino. See, there was an open field right there on that corner. It's kind of a shopping center there now. But across the street used to be, what was it? God, I forgot the name now. They were a big fruit grower. They had a package shed on the opposite corner. They had plums and had a lot of plums and had pears. I don't remember if they had peaches or not. But that was all country then. When you got out that far, they were country.
My grandfather used to work a lot of those fields.
Is that right?
In the 30s.
Yeah.
My dad remembers going down El Camino, and his dad would, point.
Yeah.
Shopping centers, that's field over there.
Used to be some nice orchards in that area, in those days. In fact, Scott Lane used to run down this way, and then the Brays used to be called the Bray Ranch. A couple of Spencers owned that property there. I remember that. We used to look over and then we'd go across, jump the fence, and we'd go look at the, I can't remember the name of that outfit now. We'd look for pears that they missed in the center of the tree, and then you get some huge pears like that, really sweet.
Well, when was it you did you ever have a chance to go out to any of the Asahi games before you joined the team? Or you,
No.
pretty much the first time you went out there was when you were...
Yeah.
How did you do that if you hadn't had a
Well,
chance to play before?
the way that started was the Nito Club. Now, I can't remember. I don't really remember. It was 37. I think it was 37 anyway. Summer it's 37. They used to have an annual barbecue, like just the guys, you know, and they'd sit around, tell jokes and stories and things like that, and drink beer or whatever. And they had baseball out there, and I was throwing some in there. When in high school, I was a pitcher and a first baseman. So I was throwing some. They watched me throw, and they said, "Hey, why don't you come up with Asahis?" So that's what I did. So, but I think that was the following year. So I think that might have been 38 that I started.
Was that out at the field that you guys were?
Yeah.
So they used to have like picnics and things like that, or get-togethers out there at the field?
Not at that field, no. We were someplace up Stevens Creek or Road or somewhere out there. I don't know, somebody's ranch, I think it was.
But some of the Asahi guys were out there, and they
Yeah,
saw
well,
you.
most of the old-time Asahis were you know this, Yoshiokas and Joe Gio and Mooney Keda, Blackie Chishta. Now, those guys are all they were the older guys. The younger guys, like Harry Yoshioka, were zebras. They were all Hinodes. Not Hinodes. I keep saying Hinodes because I played basketball with Hinodes later.
Hinagas?
No, Hinaga. Russell or no Chick, they weren't in there.
Well, Russell still was, right?
Russell used to play, yeah, he was still with the team, but he didn't belong to the club that I remember.
Oh, you're talking about the Nito Club?
Nito Club, yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, there a lot of the ball players were members of the Nitos, the older guys.
What exactly were the Nitos?
It was just a social club, and they had a basketball team.
Oh.
In fact, that's all they had was basketball.
The Zebras started when?
Well, Zebras, I don't know when they started, but they had a basketball team. They didn't have any baseball. It was only post-war.
Well, so Dr. Ishikawa is one of the Nitos, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like Sakamoto, Tom Sakamoto Sr., he was a Nito. Although he was already through playing with Asahis by the time I joined. But he was one of those old-time Asahi players, too.
Yeah, Tom Sakamoto. The 20s.
So you went to Hard Mountain, so did any of the Asahis play baseball in camp then?
Well, I tell you, the war started in December 41, right? Well, 41, when we were getting some of the younger guys coming in out of high school into the Asahi team. And somehow it looked like a lot of them weren't getting too much of a chance to play, whereas the old-timers were playing more or less. So, when we went to camp, my brother Maury, he's 2 years, or a year and a half, almost 2 years younger than I, he played with Asahi 1 year after he graduated. When we went to Santa Anita, he said, "Let's form our own team." And so what we got all the young guys out of the old Asahi team. So we got like Tom Okagaki, he used to play for Santa High School at that time. He was our shortstop. We got Chi Akizuki, who had never played baseball before, but he was quite an athlete. I got him to play. Tom Kawahara, got Tom Sakamoto, the coaches, and we made up our own team. And in Santa Anita, we beat everybody, including the old Asahi guys. When we had us out there was thousands of people out there. All the people in Santa Anita come out to watch us play. The younger guys play the old timers.
So, where is this? This is an assembly center?
Yeah.
So how long were you out there at this assembly center?
Well, I think we left there, we left San Jose at the end of May, and we left there about Labor, I think Memorial Day 1942, we left San Jose. We left Santa Anita on Labor Day 1943.
So you guys, you younger guys, from the Asahi, kind of that last wave, you were playing even Asahi from the older guys.
We were playing against the older guys who they didn't have.
What do you call yourselves, or do you call yourselves
We called
anything?
ourselves. We had a meeting. Carl Shimada was on our team too. We had a bunch of pickup guys too. We went outside Santa Anita. We were all working on this camouflage project. That was a big project. He made camouflage nets for the military. And we all got together and went outside and sat around by they have a big fountain over there. We wondered, what shall we call ourselves? And then somebody, and I can't remember who it was, suggested we name ourselves Azukars, because that was the horse that won the first Santa Anita handicap. And so we had a T-shirt made with Azukar on it.
Azukar,
yeah.
Now, when you guys played the old Asahi players, were they still using the Asahi name, or?
I don't remember what they called themselves, but they were all the Asahi guys. Russell and them were running the main show. Russell and Blackie and George.
How about once you got into camp, did you guys keep your team? Did it stay as a team, the Azukar?
Well, we stayed, except when we went to Heart Mountain, then they were the backbone of the Zebras.
Your team became the backbone.
Yeah, because see, at the time we just had a pickup game. It was the only one game that I played in Heart Mountain. It was a pickup team, and it was like us against the rest of the camp. I can't really remember whether we had Asahi guys on our team or what, but mostly basically it was the Azukar guys. I don't even remember whether we got beat or we beat them or whatever.
So that's kind of how the Zebra baseball team got started. Then was in camp.
Yeah. They formed after I left, because I left first I left in June. Go to Provo, Utah to work in the orchards out there because they didn't call us.
June of '43?
Yeah. They didn't call us. We a bunch of volunteers, but they never called us. So we went out to work, and then a month later we were called, so we came back to camp. July 18th or 19th, somewhere around there, we were inducted. So the Zebras, and then they started somewhere after that, or where I was gone, I can't really remember. But I worked in the community activities department or whatever, the recreation department anyway. Joe Suski was our boss, athletic department. Joe Suski was a varsity player for UCLA before evacuation, so he was our boss. And I don't know if you guys know Link Kimura. You hear of him? Link Kimura lived right across the street. No, not here. His mother passed away this year, but she lived in that house and she came to this country in 1917 or 18, except for the time that we were evacuated. Well, Link, he and I were from California, from San Jose, and then there were two others from Washington that worked with Joe on the community athletics. Well, Link later became a trainer for San Jose State and for the 49ers. He passed away some years ago, too. But you keep talking and things come back to you. They don't ever think about, that's one day. I don't know, I can't really remember why it was that I guess maybe because we had the nucleus of a ball team and the Azukar, because we were all there from Saturday. Then we played the rest of the guys.
But there wasn't really any thought of keeping the old Asahi team or the old Asahi team name?
I don't think so. I don't know.
There wasn't any Any reason you can think of?
Well, one of the things about when you got to camp, and especially Joe's idea was to assimilate. See, because they didn't want this one faction versus another faction, that there'd be some animosity there or something like that. So he wanted to say, we're all Heart Mountain people now. It doesn't matter where you came from.
Oh, you mean like if you came from San Jose
Yeah.
or Stockton or whatever?
Yeah, right. So even the zebra team, they had guys from outside, the basketball team. Baseball, I don't know because I wasn't there when they started that. But basketball, I know from pictures, and the guys that come to zebra reunion, they were never San Jose people before.
Oh.
They came from other areas.
So to reduce friction, possibility for friction,
Yeah,
or rivalry.
It's not only that, but when you're in camp, you get to know people from other areas. They become your friends, and then they start joining your outfits. And if they have any athletic ability, you kind of recruit them into your team.
Mm. So they didn't mind if there was like inter-camp rivalry, so long as it wasn't divided in terms of where you came from. So you could have different teams as long as all the teams were composed of a pretty good mix of people.
Well, see, we first started out, we had a girls softball team, and Joe Suski tells me, "Oh, you go organize the team." And so what I did was I got all the San Anita people. So we call themselves the San Anita girls. He said, that's not so good. So we want to forget about where you came from and all that. So the first year we played like that, but after that they just had teams. They just had regular names. They didn't say where they came from. So first year I coached this. All these girls that were from, bulk of them were from Santa Clara Valley, but we got a couple of pitchers from LA area. They were really good. And some outfielders and that were really good. So it was a team that was assimilated. Except we called them San Anita girls, and then they said, no, you better get rid of the name. So we finally had a meeting, just trying to figure out what kind of name to call our team. And all the girls in the infield wore these French braids. They didn't have their hair hanging down because it interfered with their game. So we decided we'd call ourselves the Little Yokums. So I named after Mandy Yokum, the comic strip. So we call ourselves the Little Yokums. And I can't remember who it is we played against.
When you volunteered for the World War II, do you remember, was that like in your block, was that were some people against that, volunteering for the Army? Was everybody in favor of or supportive of people volunteering, or was it different? Or?
I don't know what went on other blocks, but we were at Block 24, and as all the other blocks did, they usually had a meeting of all the young eligibles, people eligible for draft, to discuss what the position was. And my very good friend, whose name was Fred Yamamoto, incidentally, he got killed on the way to save the lost battalion. But he got up at the very beginning of the meeting, and I know we had some rednecks in there. And he got up at the very beginning of the meeting and said, he said, this thing is so important. Nobody's got a right to tell anybody else what is the right thing to do or what is not the right thing to do. Each got to search his own conscience and decide on his own what is the right thing. We didn't have any fuss at all. Meeting broke up. So we all went and did our thing, and if my friend or somebody that I know didn't want to register for the draft or volunteer, that was his business. So we figured he had a good reason, as I had, for wanting to volunteer. We respected each other's decisions. So we had no problems in our block that I was aware of.
So this meeting took place before registration?
Before we had to go,
How much do people know about the questions before registration? Did they know that it was to leave camp and or to volunteer for the Army?
You mean those two infamous
Yeah,
questions?
yeah, 27, 28.
I don't remember that we had any inkling of what the questionnaire was going to be like. I don't recall at all.
But you knew it had to do something with volunteering?
Well, we knew that if you volunteered there, we would be sent to the 442. That we knew, and how that information came to us, I don't remember.
Did people resent the fact that you were going to be sent to a segregated unit? Or?
Outwardly, no. Not the time that I was there, no. But I understand later on our parents and them, they were being ostracized because we were in the Army. But that also, it's only hearsay because I was in Hattiesburg and they were in Paramount. So, yeah. But then the mothers or the parents of those who did volunteer became closer. See, like my friend up there in Palo Alto, his mother and parents, my parents never knew then. But in camp, they became pretty close friends because we were both in the 442.
So they took some heat from some other people who didn't think you guys should volunteer.
There might have been those that what they did, I don't know. In fact, it was news to me that there was even these hot mountain protesters. Until I came back, I never heard anything about it. Which is strange that nobody ever wrote anything to me, and then nobody ever wrote anything, and then of course never did get any of the hot mountain sentinels I could read about it. So I was completely unaware of that.
You think it was possible by 1944 that the sentiment had turned such that more people were in favor of resisting the draft when the draft came in 44? It must have been like a year after you left.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Well, in 43 when the registration came and you guys went off to volunteer, most people were still pretty positive toward volunteer or the country.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if I volunteered so much for the country as it was that I thought, well, all this time we were protesting that, hey, we're Americans, how come they put us in a camp like this? They're denying us our rights and all that. We were protesting all this time, and now all of a sudden we have an opportunity to serve the country. And that was one reason I thought, so I think this is the time we should go. The other one was, I had faith that someday we're going to come back to California. And I remember telling some of my young kids that were, I taught PE in high school, in 6th grade PE for a while I was there. And I told some of the kids I got to know real well, I said, when they asked me why I volunteered, I told them, well, the reason is, when you guys go back to California, I want you guys to hold your head high. And fortunately, it worked out that way, For me, that was my, I don't know about the other people. I never discussed with them, why did you volunteer or whatever, except my friend, that Fred Yamamoto. Him and I always thought along the same vein, so I'm sure that was his thoughts too. But that was quite a guy. His mother really objected to him going to shoot a widow.
So she'd be by herself?
Well, yeah, because her other son was drafted. He went into the military. The daughter was married and gone, so she would be by herself. But she objected and said, you go to war, you might get killed. And Fred told her, well, it's just, when you're born in this world, so you live once and you die once. So what better way is there than to die for the country? So after that, she didn't object anymore. She was quite a lady. All the time, they brought us whatever was left of him. They brought it back. He was buried at Epinal. But when I was stationed in Nancy, I went down there to visit him. His grave. I knew where he was. They brought him back and buried him at the Golden Gate. She never shed a tear, not once. The one time she did cry was when she first saw me. When I'd come back and he wasn't there with me. It's the only time.
Do you think that one of the reasons the 442 fought so well was because people had in the back of their mind that they always had to prove something or to make things better, or was it just that these guys were really tight, and when people are tight that they hang in there and sacrifice for each other and things of that sort?
Well, I don't know what the other guy's talking. I can only think about my own thoughts. And one of the reasons that comes foremost in my mind is that the average intelligence of the 442 was high enough that every member could qualify for OCS. Now that versus the average U.S. Army, where the average intelligence rated somewhere in the grade school level. Now, if you're a little bit more intelligent, I think you're a better soldier. Although some guy said some stupid things up there, that's one of the reasons. And the other thing is, of course, I got hit early. See, I wasn't really in some of that real hard fighting like at Barreras and Rescue the Lost Battalion for the final push. But what we did, it didn't seem anything out of the extraordinary to me.
At the time you were there?
Yeah, at the time that I was there. Although we did take a licking from 4th of July. See, fortunately at that time, our company was in reserve. You see, you got three the United States Army was built in triangles. You had three companies to a battalion, you had 3 battalions to a regiment, 3 regiments to a division, and 3 or 5 divisions to an army. So and then within the platoons, you had 3 rifle platoons in the company. Within the platoons, you had 3 squads. Okay, there's always 2 platoons up front and one platoon in reserve. Where the battalion had 2 companies up front and 1 company in reserve. Well, when they took the licking on Hill 140, my company was in reserve. So I didn't see all that hard fighting. Although some of our guys got pretty well banged up. No, I take that back. My company wasn't. They were up there, but my platoon was in reserve. So I was in the back hauling ammunition when those guys up there were taking the licking. So yeah, it happens like that. A lot of times. If your platoon is a point platoon, your 2 squads are out there and 1 squad's in reserve. If you're in reserve, the 2 front squads might be taking a licking, but you're in the back someplace.
No one ever said something about, well, they're using the 442 for cannon fodder. That came after the war. People started talking like that.
I think there's a very strong sentiment about a lot of people that they think, we pushed us up there because we were expendable. I don't know. I take the opposite view. Whether I'm correct or not, I don't know. But I always think in terms of a baseball game and score is tied, or you got 2 outs, you're in the bottom of the 9th, and you got a strong pinch hitter sitting on the bench who's probably the best hitter on the team. Would you send that guy up, or would you let the pitcher bat? You send your best guy out there. So that's why I said that's why the 442, 100 442, the 100 first established such a reputation. And at the first 442 followed up too. They were inexperienced. The officers were inexperienced. But as soon as we got a little bit battle experience, then we were just as good as the 100. And so naturally, whenever you got a tough nut to crack, you want to send your best guys in there to do the work. You're not going to send your weak guys in there, but they're not going to get the job done. That's my view. Well, that's right or not, I have no idea. And I know a lot of guys who probably disagree with me very strongly. But if I was a general hey, I'd send my best troops in there to crack toughest nut there is to crack. And that's why, what's his name, was sent the 442 in to rescue his lost battalion. Which is only like the 141st Regiment couldn't do it. They went, but they couldn't do it. But then then too, I think, among the Nisei anyway, there is still in them this spirit of Yamato Damashi. I'm sure. Because we hear about it when we were growing up from our parents. And in Hawaii, I know they emphasize a lot about don't dishonor your family, that kind of thing. So the Hawaii guys, they have that in their mind too all the time. I mean, that probably one of the reasons that 442 was such a formidable force. But like I tell you, the fight, the amount of engagement I was in, it didn't seem to be anything extraordinary.
So most of the guys, when they were actually in the doing the stuff, this seemed kind of normal to them, given all the war and so forth. It wasn't like they didn't have a sense that they were a super unit.
I don't think so. But hey, even if you're a super unit, the bullet that's intended for you hits you, you're going to get it. That's all there is to it. You do a lot of stupid things, that upon reflection you get cold sweat, but at the time you don't think about it. You just do it.
When did you come back from the war?
I got back in January of 46.
Did you play baseball pretty soon after that?
Well, we started the Zebra team that following summer, yeah.
So the Zebras were started, that was the first time the Zebras played when you guys started it?
Yeah. Outside of camp, yeah.
So that was...
Yeah, because the YBA was the only youth organization, that had members that, and they had the money to sponsor back up a baseball team.
That was 47 or 46?
That was started 46.
46.
So the YBA started up the Zebra baseball team then?
We were part of the YBA, yeah.
So the old Asahi and all of that, the whole, whatever structure had supported the Asahi team, that was not in place.
As far as we know, yeah. Because I don't think there was any specific organization that backed the Asahis. I think they were just a group of individuals. To the best of my knowledge, it's Mr. Horio, I can't remember which of the Horios, but one of the Horio, and Dr. Kawamura, those two that I remember. And Mr. Horio used to give us, after we play a ball game, he'd give us 50 cents to each player. And heck, we'd go up to King Lowell and have dinner and we'd have change. It cost them like 25, 30 cents a piece. Or like go to a place like Stockton to play. I remember going there and eating lunch at a Japanese restaurant like 20 cents. Of course, we had to pay our own there, but they always had a bathhouse where we changed our clothes in public bathhouse. And those were really good days. Those big bathtubs, they were made out of concrete, and the sides were a little bit rough, so you could scratch your back on there. So good. Minatos had one there right on 2 houses away from the corner of 6th and Jackson. So we used to dress for home games.
So you typically would get dressed there and then come back and take a shower or a
Bath, yeah.
yeah, and then they go to Kenyan.
Cane Old, yeah, that's what the Cuban restaurant is now. That was a real good Chinese restaurant.
Well, when the Zebras started in '46, I noticed like in one of those photos there, I think you're in it too. Rusty Naga was still kind of supervising. He was still kind of coach.
I can't remember exactly what it was because it was mostly my brother and I that ran the whole thing. My brother especially, he had all the equipment, brought back the equipment from Hart Mountain. But he took the Asahi equipment down to...
Or actually, you had two brothers, right?
Well, the young one beside him that started playing in camp, yeah. But he wasn't playing at the time that I was there.
Well, what were they? One was Fuzzy, right?
Well, he's the third one down. He wasn't playing. This guy Maury is the one under me that was playing at the time.
Let me check with you on this. Seems like there were. That's one of you. I can tell that Shimada.
Yeah, see, that's Maury. He's right under me.
Oh, okay.
And that's me.
Okay.
And that's Fuzzy.
Oh, so did Fuzzy play a little bit then?
Yeah, this was after the first or second year he started playing.
Okay.
This is Sam Della Maggiore who coached us.
Because I think this is about 46, what somebody said.
No, it's after that
And that's
because
what Henry Hunter said.
because the first place we played at was Bakesto Park.
Oh,
We
somebody
didn't-
mentioned
we-
Bakesto Park.
We didn't get to play over here at Municipal Stadium.
Ah.
I think it's only after Sam coached it through his pool we got in there. I'm not really sure of that, but
Oh, so it may have been a couple years later then.
I think so. It's just Dave Nomura. He went to San Jose State, and that was around 48.
But see, the guys are still wearing the old Asahi uniforms.
Yeah, because we had them. Us guys, I had one, my brother had none.
And this looks like a camp uniform.
Well, he's from Mountain View. It's Tachibana from Mountain View. And see, like, this is a Hoyer brother, he's a Hoyer brother. And this is Yoshihara, the younger Yoshihara. This is one of the Hoyer brothers. So, see, this is Tamo Bugaki. He played with us 1 year. That's why he has a uniform. See, like Henry, he doesn't even have a uniform.
He's got a lucky 13th.
I don't know what it is.
It's an Army uniform.
But he did play with us pre-war. Why George doesn't have a Asahi uniform, I don't know. Pearce used to come out at umpire, things like that.
Did he coach too? At all?
Well, Sam was supposed to be, but
And you and Maury pretty much
we had the equipment.
kind of managers.
Yeah, we used to go up to Mountain View and pick them up every day for practice when we had practice.
Who pretty much organized the practices and the games and stuff as far as the bureaucratic end of it?
I don't really remember this far back. But later on, I did all the managing and set up the games and line up opponents that way because there was no Japanese team there. I used to contact this guy in San Francisco, a sports shop over there. They used to line up games for all the semi-pro teams. That's how we played 1 year until some of the other areas got the teams.
How long did you continue then with the Zebras? Started about 46, right after you got back.
We started then, but I can't remember when I quit. It was sometime in the 50s, but I can't remember.
So Henry Honda was back. I guess Henry Honda had been on the team and then he left.
He
and then
went to
came
Richmond,
back.
yeah.
And then he came back.
Came up in Richmond. Yeah. I don't think I was around anymore when he came back. I don't really remember. he and his brother started the team up there originally.
Would you guys still go out to Canyon Low, even when you were on the Zebras, or was it not really convenient
No.
at that point?
No, we didn't go up there as a team or
group.
individually, no. At least I don't remember going up there. I mean, I used to go there. In fact, when this fellow, a friend of soccer together, he's now deceased, but we used to bowl. Can't remember even what night it was, but one night a week we used to bowl. And after bowling, we used to always go up there and have a $1 bowl, plate of chow mein. They had the best chow mein in the world. And $1 plate was like, two of us could barely knock it off for a snack before we went home.
When you went on the road, did you guys have banquets and that kind of stuff with the other team? Used to play ball.
Think about it as Asahi or Zebra or both.
Oh, I was thinking that actually. It was the Asahis, yeah.
No, it's a size I don't remember ever. We were just all on our own. But see, there weren't a whole lot of teams as I remember. We played against Alameda. There was an Alameda Typhoon team. I think it was Typhoons. They had a pretty good team. They had some good ball players on there. Ben Tanizawa was a big left-handed pitcher. And their first baseman name was Oscar Como. He was a pretty good hitter. But I can't remember the rest of those guys. But we used to have kind of a rivalry with them. And Stockton had the Mirkitanis. They were good ball players. And Luke Tsunekawa. I can't remember whether Tsunekawa was post-war or pre-war, but he was a good athlete in Stockton area. We used to go up there and play. They had their own ballpark. And I can't remember where else we used to ride. I mean, one year we went down to San Luis Obispo. We had a couple of teams down there. San Luis Obispo and Guadalupe. We had a lot of Japanese people down there. They had some good teams. In fact, some of the players are here now. Nishijima brothers. Lefty Nishijima, I think he's in Fresno area. He was a pitcher for them.
Now, as Zebras, you guys weren't still playing the same kind of a schedule, right, against other Japanese American teams?
Not at the onset of the game, but like I said, we got this. Damn, I can't remember who the guy was, but there used to be a guy that worked for one of the sports shops in San Francisco that arranged ball games for all these different levels of semi-pro teams. And he'd send us on a team. We were playing at San Jose Municipal Stadium at that time. And he'd send a team down. If we beat him, and he'd send us down another team that was a little bit better than them until they beat us. Then he figured about what level we were at. So at that time, we did go into St. Louis to play once too. And we faced a guy that used to be a pitcher for the St. Louis Browns. The guy's a major leaguer.
He was in prison?
Yeah, St. Louis. And then, I think one of the low points was this guy figured we were good enough to go out and play the Humboldt Crabs. And those guys are a top-notch semi-pro team up in that area. And so they wanted to put out big publicity, and they wanted pictures of our guys and stuff. So we sent some pictures up there, and they found out we were Japanese, and they canceled the game. That was probably one of the lowest points we ever had, because then we wanted to go up there and play those guys, but we knew they were a good player, a good team.
What year was that? 1940?
I can't remember.
Was that one of the few incidences, or were
That was the only instance that I can remember. All those other guys that came down, they sent down some Mexican team. We beat the hell out of them. Then sent some other team down. We beat some pretty good teams.
you guys would play against Hakujin teams? Would the guys ever give you bad time,
No.
call you names or something like that?
They were all athletes. No, we had no problems.
Even after the war?
Yeah. No.
So this team was called the San Luis Crabs?
St. Louis?
Or the
Humboldt?
Humboldt Crabs, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were the
Well, that,
pretty well known. Those guys, and there used to be another team over at Atwater something, somewhere in Central Cal, somewhere. They were top notch, but we weren't up to that level yet. I wish we could have gone to Humboldt because then we could have found out, just, if we were at their level or not.
it's still kind of a rednecky area.
It probably is because,
Longer.
yeah.
Yeah, they probably still wouldn't want to play you.
Yeah, right.
It would be great if we gone up there and beat them.
Or might not have been. They might have lynched you or something.
Yeah, well, and, after I was reclassified, I met a guy in the Army that was from Nebraska. And this is about 45. And that guy still telling me, said, you guys are lucky to win. Huh? You're lucky to win what? They beat us in the Rose Bowl. Well, that thing happened sometime in the 30s, man. It was Stanford beat Nebraska in the Rose Bowl. He's still mad about that. So people in different areas, they don't forget.
Do you think that, like when you were playing for the Asahis before the war, how old were you then when you were playing for the Asahis?
I was, see, if it was 38,
20,
I was 20.
And you weren't married, didn't have a
No.
girlfriend or anything?
No.
Did playing for the Asahis, was that a good gig to meet girls, or no, they didn't come out, they didn't...
Those guys are all older guys.
They didn't really attract attention in that way, is that right?
No, I don't think so.
Were a lot of the guys married on the team already?
No,
Not necessarily?
I don't think they were. I remember Joe Gill got married. I remember Joe, when he played left field for us, he was our leadoff man. And I used to think, geez, what an old guy. I'm amazed that he could still run around, I tell him that. He always gets after me for that. But he was like almost 10 years older than I was, see. I remember that.
So, if it wasn't a good gig to meet women, were the events kind of like family things that, like when you played ball, I guess on Sunday, Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon? Did a lot of families come out?
They watched the ball game, yeah, because that was the only thing they had to do. The Japanese people had no other recreation. So all the old folks, they supported baseball. Like Jackson Street down there. They used to have benches in front of well, it wasn't a pool hall then until after post-war, but they had benches out on the Tosh's sweet shop and places like that. And they'd be sitting there talking about baseball, especially on Saturday night before the game. And on Sunday like that, on the 4th of July deal, when we invited prisoners to come over, they had to give a guarantee. I don't remember what it was, but in today's terms, it was nominal, but it was like $100, $150, and you had to raise that from the gate. Used to charge to people to come in.
So, like, charging at the gate was only for special games, like regular...
I think they charge regular games too. I don't know.
It was a small...
Well, was that to help pay for travel expenses? And
They never paid the travelers, but everybody drove their own cars, and as far as I know.
I mean, what was this guarantee all about? Who got that money?
Oh, that was like Jay Moore and his group, bring his group over. How he dispensed that money, I don't know. But I do know they had to guarantee it for this one.
As far as the field itself, do you remember, there must have been a scoreboard out there, is that right?
There was, out in center field.
Out in center field?
Yeah.
Was that where that flat area was? Seemed like there was-
yeah, well, like that, it came across like that in the right field. I think it was right after.
Right in that flood. Well, was there anything out? Was there a flagpole out there? I know that's
I don't.
probably hard to. Yeah. Were there any advertisements or any signs
No.
anywhere?
It's all, just plain,
Just plain.
as I recall, yeah.
Yeah. So you pretty much had the scoreboard, and then you had the grandstands.
Yeah.
Was there any attachment to the grandstands? Any place for like a refreshment area or something like that?
No, not as far as I know. There was no refreshment area.
How about restroom? Was there like a what do you call it, like an outhouse?
They must have had outhouses, but I don't remember.
Some of the old photos it shows like drinking fountains on each side.
Is that right?
It looked like for the players had a drinking fountain.
Might be. I don't even remember that.
Thing. I was wondering if they had other ones in the back or something for the public
I know we had dugouts.
with the screens on the.
Yeah, with the screen in front on the ground level.
Now, would you guys stay in there pretty much during the
Yeah.
game when you were in?
Well, it used to be pretty hot around here, in those days. It's a lot hotter than it is now.
Did the dugouts make it a little cooler?
Well, you sit in the shade. Yeah. I never even thought about playing on grass until we went out to the municipal stadium, post-war area. Every
Must have been
ball
pretty
game
nice.
we went to was always dirt fields.
Even the outfields, there was a lot of dirt, huh? Because you couldn't really keep it up that well, because it would have taken a tremendous effort.
Oh,
huh?
George Yoshioka used to come in with his farm equipment and get the ground ready before we started playing baseball in the spring. He'd kind of just get over lively and then pull drags around there, level it off a little bit, knock down the weeds,
Mm.
In those days, they didn't have pre-emergence weed killers.
Right, yeah.
I don't know how they ever knew where to put the bases unless they had some stakes in the ground
Some kind
that
of
were there
markers.
permanently. Yeah, because I didn't have anything to do with setting that up.
Mm. They'd probably re-chalk it every Sunday.
I don't even know who did that.
Mm.
Somebody had to do it, yeah.
How did the team raise money beside the gate fee? Did they show movies or pass the
Yeah, I
hat
don't
or-
know whether they ever had a benefit movie for the baseball team. I don't remember that at all. I don't think so. I remember those other organizations having benefit movies, and they used to put the names and donation up. They pull it on the wire, put it up on the side of the building, inside the building. I recall those things, but never for baseball. I think there's some of the. This is just a guess, but some of the wealthier people, like Dr. Colin Murrah and Orias, and then they probably chipped in whatever it cost to do baseball and bats. People bought their own gloves, but they supplied the bats and balls. How they then usually the umpires are pickup people. They didn't have professional umpires. In the zebra time we did, but later after we got organized, we used to hire. Usually it was old Dick Main. He used to work for Gordon's Sports Shop, and he was on his time off. He used to do a lot of umpiring, so we used to get him.
So when Russ was umpiring, that was mostly just for practice and stuff?
That was free, yeah. When he umpired it was all.
But he didn't really umpire games. Is that
Yeah,
right?
he umpired some games, as I remember. In the early years, like when we played at Bethesda. And I don't even remember how we got Bethesda reserved for us, because we used to practice out there.
Where was Piquesto?
Right there on 13th Street. 13th and, is it Taylor or Jackson? There's the tennis courts out there now. There used to be a couple of ballparks out there.
Oh.
and that was free, so our cost limited the white being furnished the balls and bats. Catching equipment we had, our brother had kept it. So.
Bikesto is spelled B-A-K-E-S-T-O, or?
I think B-A-C-K-E-S-T-O, yeah.
So Maury had been a catcher?
Yeah, he played, he caught, and he also played infield, second base.
What about your position?
Well, I didn't play much with the Zebras. I was managing mostly. I used to play first base, or I was pitcher.
With the Asahi?
Asahi, I was pitcher, yeah.
So you shared duties with Henry Honda towards the end, and
before that, Georgie Chista, and Harry Kanemoto, Rushinaga.
And Georgie Naga pitched too, didn't he, towards the end?
Well, he was shortstop mainly. I can't remember, it was after Chick retired then, because when I first started, Chick was our shortstop. And George was up in Vancouver playing semi-professional baseball.
Oh, so you must have started. You must have started in '36 then. 'Cause that's when I think that's when George was up in Vancouver.
I don't know what year he was out there, but I know he wasn't with us until middle of the summer. I think they folded or something, and he came back.
Ah.
But the first year I played with them, Chicky
was Moon Ikeda on the team when you started?
No, he had just retired.
Ah.
And Harry Yoshioka was the center fielder.
Hmm.
Why did most people retire? Because they had to spend more time with their family or work?
I guess they reached a certain age, they retire. I don't know, really. Yeah, I don't even remember when Joe Gio quit.
But he was still on the team a little bit when you were
When it
first
started,
joined.
he was our leadoff man.
Ah.
He said he had a good eye. He had a wide stand like Joe DiMaggio. I remember he even played basketball for Nitos the first year I was out.
This is a hard question, but like you played ball with the Asahis before the war, and then you went off to camp, and then the World War II. And you came back to play ball. Did the kind of war experience of that sort of? How did you see that as changing the way you looked at things, and what you were interested in, and all of that?
Well, I don't think the war had too much effectively too much in my way of thinking. Well, maybe one reason was that my time on the front line was so short too, and it was during the summer when the weather wasn't all that unbearable. Like those guys that had to spend the winter in those mountains, it was a terrible experience. The trench feet and all that. It's cold. Especially the Hawaii guys, if it's a little bit cold, they're cold. Not so bad for us, but still, if you're standing around with wet feet, you're going to get trench feet. So those guys had it tough. Plus, in Italy, most of the places that we fought through was open ground. We didn't have to fear the airbursts, the tree bursts. Once in a while, yeah, we got caught in a little bit, kind of like on a hill that has some trees on it, get some tree bursts, but not like there where you got all those conifers. The interesting thing is that I went with a group in '84 for the 40th anniversary of the liberation of Guerreros, and it happened that at the banquet there was a seat open next to me. And Eric Saul came late, so he sat there and he told us about some of his experiences. He had just come back talking to the French people. One of the things he said, that I remember is that they don't cut trees down for lumber up there anymore because they said they had too much steel in it. And it would ruin their equipment. So that's how much shelling went on up there. So it must have been, and we saw how the trees were. I mean, they're like toothpicks. But it must have been tough. Yeah, well, I'll tell you one story though, like Link Kimura. His mother told me, said he used to be awful picky about what he ate before the war. So when he came back, he ate anything that she put on the table. After he saw what the people in Italy did. Because he had to come back from Italy, see. And he saw what it was like when we were ravaged by war, how the kids have to survive, how the people eat.
He was eating sea rations all that time too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling somebody about that the other day. You get breakfast wasn't bad. You usually got scrambled egg and pork and scrambled egg, and all in a can, of course. Then for lunch it was lousy. You always got this cheese. It was crack. And then for dinner you always had this corned beef hash with carrots and apple flakes. I'll never forget that. But we used to pull out onions wherever we went through a Italian garden. If we see onion, we used to pull it and throw it in our knapsack. And especially that darn corned beef hash, the only way you could eat it was to get dissolved some bouillon cubes. And then, you see, those sea rations came in a packet about the size of a 1-pound butter box. And that outside was wrapped with wax. So we tear that in strips and we'd heat our canteen cup with that. Because it was smokeless too. And we put that in there, we chop up onions in there, and that's the only way we could eat that darn stuff.
Because it's real fatty, huh?
That was terrible stuff. You had to eat it to know what it's like. That, first, and then those guys that were in the rear echelon, you know, they got, I guess it was called corned beef or something like that. They put it on toast. We used to call it shit on the shingle, yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
Chipped beef or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they've done a lot of work. They got these packets now of the freeze-dried stuff.
Yeah.
They call them MREs, meals ready to eat, as opposed to sea rations. They do a lot of research at Natick to make the food taste better.
Food.
Yeah.
Bringing up the airline quality.
Well, I remember one time, I don't know what it was, the Jeep driver came up, they brought up some so-called hot chow. Actually, it was only lukewarm. But it tasted so good to us up there. And I remember telling the Jeep driver, hey, boy, this chow was sure good. Maybe for you guys. He sits back in the kitchen, they eat hot food all the time. And they can go out and scramble around. They take the D-bars. D-bars were concentrated chocolate bars. You take one bar, about like that size, square. It's enough for one day's meal, nutrition for one day's meal. That was the emergency ration. Well, the kitchen crew used to go out and trade that for rice with the Italian people. And so those guys are eating good food all the time. We hardly ever got rice. Once in a while we got rice up at the front.
Yeah, that must have been pretty tough, right? I mean, for what you guys and the Hawaii guys, like getting rice for
Straight Hawaii guys, they need rice more than we did. And the sergeant, he went around, he did a lot of trade and bargaining. And I guess those guys must have been eating fresh eggs too. I don't know, never was back with the kitchen.
how often did you guys practice when you were with the Asahis?
Usually once a week.
You know, was it always the same, like Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah. There was an evening afterward. Everybody came out to practice.
And everybody practiced? No one like
Yeah, most everybody used to come out. It's to film something or another.
So usually it was in the summer, so it was still light.
Yeah, right. We didn't have daylight saving those days, but it was still light.
You remember what were some of the big games when you were playing? Any games stand out in your mind?
No, except that when we played Fresno. We always wanted to beat them anymore, so.
Did you guys play just one time, or you usually
Just
play once a year?
Yeah.
About that same time, about on July 4th
Yeah, because he
weekend?
brings in his all-star team from the Fresno area. And we just had our own guys. I don't remember how we stood as far as the win and loss goes.
So that was kind of a special game that
Yeah, it was.
you guys had a banquet after that or something like that?
You know, I don't remember whether I don't think we did, but I don't remember. Yeah, I think I would remember if we had. If we had, it would have probably been like a King Roll or something. I was trying to make sure. I don't even remember. Even as a Zebra team, I don't think we did it. In fact, I came down to L.A. one time, and 2 times. And neither time we didn't have a banquet down there.
This is playing the LA team or the Terminal Island?
No, we played some all-star team down there. And
Was that right after the war?
Yeah. Well, we did that. In fact, they had a Negro umpire there, an Ashford or something like that. He made the major league, but he kicked me out of the ball game.
What?
So I was arguing the call he made, and I happened to bump him in my chest, and he threw me out.
So,
Yeah, well, Chesney remembers that. I had forgotten about it.
so the Asahis used to play as anywhere as All-Stars once a year?
Once a year, yeah.
How long did that go on? Like, when did that start?
I don't know. It must have been going on before I even started with the Science.
At least the mid-30s.
I would think so.
So did you all play the kind of winning team from the LA area?
No.
So Fresno was the
That was only, yeah. In fact, you know, in the 20s, I know Sacramento used to have a Japanese ball team, but after I played with Asahi, we never did play Sacramento. I mean, we played Stockton. I think Lodi came in. We played Lodi too. That was late in the late, maybe a very early 40, maybe when Lodi Templars came into being. We had rivalry with them. And then we played with Alameda. I guess Alameda too earlier. Later on, I think Alameda, they folded. I don't remember them playing in the late 30s. And I don't ever... Oh, yeah, we played against... There used to be a team down in Watsonville. We played against Georgia... No. Benny Masuda. He was a big shot. There was a combination of Watsonville and Salinas guys. So this guy there, Carshirachi, was from Salinas. He was on that team. And they called him Watsonville Aces. I don't remember. We played one time, I think. One time we played a team again down there in, wasn't Hollister, it was San Juan Bautista or someplace. John Samita, if you talk to him, he remembers. He says he played against us. But that was teams like that was a time when there was hardly any teams around. In fact, I don't think we even had a league, Asahi league, that the Asahis were in. And who arranged these games, I have no idea. It might have been Georgia Show. He was sort of like a on-field manager.
Did you play any of the Hapjin semi-pro teams?
Not during the Asahi days, except Winter League. We played in the Winter League in San Jose, Winter League, and also in Santa Clara one year. We played Santa Clara Winter League, man, you face some of those professionals. I remember one time we played against, I forget his name, he was a Giants pitcher, New York Giants. There was a lot of time we played against this guy, Earl Escalante. He was a California League pitcher. He was pretty good too.
So, how many games would you play like in the Winter League? Would it be?
I don't
After that's not something
remember at all. Yeah. We used to play at San Jose Winter League, was at Graham Field. It's out on Willow Street or someplace like that.
You guys play that just to keep in shape, or just because it was just fun?
I don't know why we ever were in that league, but we just Asahi team just played there.
Are you guys still the Asahi, or do you have a different name for
Yeah,
it?
well, it's still Asahi.
Since you were playing the Hapjin semi-pros, were those games kind of different than the ones you played against the Japanese community?
No, they were better. They usually beat us. Yeah, they were some pretty good players. As I recall, we got beat all the time. Although, Grower Supply had a softball team that Phil Caffaro used to sponsor. And they were all Asahi players, and they used to hold their own against all the softball players.
So the Asahi team did pretty good on it with the softball.
Yeah.
You ever play on that?
No, I didn't. Used to play out in Santa Clara, Washington Park, at night. I don't even remember who was. We must have brought in an outside pitcher, but we didn't have a softball pitcher in that Asahi team. I don't remember who it was, but I didn't play on that, so I don't know. I used to go watch it. In those days, the semi-pro teams were pretty big around here because professional baseball, you only had Seals, San Francisco Seals, and I think Oakland had a team, Emeryville,
Oaks.
Yeah, Oakland Oaks on the California League, or whatever it was, Pacific Coast League, I guess it was, yeah. Other than that, there was no baseball around here, so we had some pretty good semi-pro players here. In fact, like Alice Takeda used to play for some ladies softball team too, and she was a good player. Yeah, even the Zebras post-war. Well, we're going to play a night game. The YBA used to pay for it in Reno, the Washington Park. We go practice at night over there, get used to the lights,
Wow.
Did that. In Municipal Stadium, we were one of the regular tenants out there. When it was first built, there was hardly anybody playing in there.
Wow, that must have been nice.
Yeah,
so there really wasn't a need for an Asahi
that place
field,
was,
huh?
Yeah, it was a beautiful ballpark. All the other teams like to come in and play us, at that ballpark. And what's his name? Manuel Zappia. He used to be the groundskeeper over there. And that was his baby boy. He kept it spick and span.
So, after the war, no one ever thought of rebuilding another Asahi field or something equivalent.
No, just not that I know of. And I assumed it was lost to taxes, but I don't really know anything about the financing back here. But it was already existing when I started playing. In fact, when you went past Taylor, it was all country, open field.
Did they have the blocks kind of designated? Could you see there were bare blocks where they eventually would have housing, or not necessarily?
No, they were just open fields.
Most of the roads, did they become dirt when they reached a certain point?
It was dirt from Taylor to the ballpark.
Completely. But how about these streets in here? Were these
Oh,
pretty
these
much
streets
paved?
here were paved, yeah.
As soon as you got beyond Taylor, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was country, it was all open field. As far as I remember now, I don't know where any houses started below or to the north or west. But we just changed our clothes there at the bathhouse and go straight out 6th Street. Well, to the ballpark.
So it's kind of tough getting out to the ballpark if you want to go out there for some reason during the winter, huh?
Yeah.
The roads are going to be mud.
Be all muddy. I don't know if there was a road as such.
Uh-huh.
And if you ask Joe, he probably remembered those things a lot better than I do.
We did find an old photo of the ball field taken from the air.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So you can see the old heading street, or Rosa Street, and then you can see 6th Street goes right across and then goes out. You kind of go out down about a block or so, and you're in right in center field, and you can park right in front of it.
That'd be interesting to see, but all I remember is open field. You going that way?
Yeah, all the way around there was open,
Yeah.
open fields, yeah. I don't know, you can't, this particular shot, you know, if we get someone out there with a nicer camera and get it outside in the natural light, we can get a lot better shot of this.
Let's be working on that.
Ken was saying he'd like to get one that, you know, a real nice one, have it so you can blow it up really large and see it. But this is Heading Street. And this is 6th Street coming out. And so after you get past Heading Street, you come out about this is about as far as Younger Street right here. But this is the grandstand from the top.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see that it's kind of rough here where the infield was. And then here's that diagonal line where that
Yeah, that's where the scorecard.
scoreboard.
Scoreboard goes here.
Yeah. And then this is all fields.
Yeah. I don't know what these lines are.
Probably just farms. Maybe there were farms,
Oh,
shortcuts.
I don't remember.
There's some kind of a house, there's some kind of a farm or something over here. This is 10th Street here. And then I think this is the railroad tracks cutting through.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, we used to come in like that and come in from left field to go into the stand.
You go in, the entrance was right about over here.
Yeah, right there in
along
that corner, yeah.
You know, sometimes people would park inside, means that there's something special, that just special people could do that occasionally.
I have no idea.
But usually you park in front.
Out there, yeah. We used to park our car here to go to practice. We could barely make it out, huh?
Yeah.
Looks like, well, of course, the prevailing wind was this way, so left field was a lot deeper than right field. Of course, in those days, nobody hit it over the fence.
Anyway,
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have that kind of power, none of our players. In fact, at Municipal Stadium, the first time that some of our guys started to hit them over the fence.
because it wasn't as deep
I don't know that.
where you were getting
No,
started.
well, the younger guys, maybe they're stronger, maybe the bats were a little bit whippier, maybe the ball was a little livelier, I don't know. But Babe Number, when he played for us, he hit it over the center field fence at the Municipal Stadium. My brother hit a couple over the fence at left field. George Naka did it. Art never did hit one over the fence. He did over near Sacramento, North Sacramento ballpark. He hit over short. The left field, right field was short, but they had the fence way up high. He clobbered one right over that fence. So we had some strong hitters later post-war.
When did the Zebras sort of peter out?
I don't remember that, but I gave it up sometime in the 50s. I don't even remember when. We used to have a guy named Murakami. He was from Maryland, Guadalupe area before, I think. He lived up in San Francisco. He used to come down and play with us. He was a good player. Played on the outfields for us. He wanted to quit. He and I would quit about the same time. But I can't remember. I have no idea about what year it was.
But it was before Henry Honda came back.
I don't even remember that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he might have come back after. I don't remember ever having the team when he was on it. So he might have come back after.
Did the Zebras practice the same amount as the Asahi did, like once a week? Or
Yeah, see, when we played Bethesda, we used to practice out there at least once a week. But later, I know we did, because my brother and I used to go after Tachibana and Mount View for practice, and take him back. But then there again, I don't remember how long he played either. It might have only been 1 year or 2 years. But he's in one of those early Bethesda pictures, but I don't know. You got a picture when we went down and played at Wilmington in L.A.? I don't know, we played the Skippers.
Is that yeah, I've got a couple photos. One against the Skippers, and another one that's a long shot, so I don't have it with me. But it's got the All-Star team.
Yeah, that
looked like it was fairly soon after the war.
Yeah, that was probably the first year because we didn't have uniforms at all.
George Chinaga had 442nd on his.
Yeah, that's probably.
It was all mixed.
That might have been the first year.
Some guys had the Asahi uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have one with the Skippers, but that's different. Here's another one that's kind of mixed. There's a guy with Clovis and another one that has the...
Yeah, Clovis, that's Takabo.
Naders or something.
Takabo was from Fresno area. He was a good athlete. And he came to San Jose to work, and so he played baseball with us. He was a strong hitter. He was a good athlete. Good bowler.
Were you on this team?
Oh yeah. See, that's Toke Murakami. Tito Sakamoto. It's my brother. And that's Henry Bishop. I can't remember. His face is coming down. And that's Denny Murray there.
That's Denny Murray? Which
Yeah.
one?
Looks like him.
The old one?
Yeah, the old man. That's Sherwood.
He's kind of young. This guy looks like it's a Fowler or something.
Yeah,
Clovis.
yeah.
What is this, Majors?
Beats me.
Oh, another Clovis.
We must have played against Fresno. I'm sure that that's black people just this is we played football at San Jose State. Kaihatsu. No, not Kaihatsu. Kaihatsu. No. Damn.
Is this you?
Jake Kikuchi.
Is that you right there?
But this guy. But that guy's got glasses on. He's got glasses. I don't know. I must be in there somewhere. Gee, tell me he was on the team. It's Honda.
That's not Henry.
No, I don't think so. I don't see him on there.
Maybe it was during that period that he was gone.
He was in Richmond, yeah. That might be back there, I don't know. See, we got a guy like this is Hayashi. He's gone. This looks like Susayashi. He's gone. He's gone till Sakamoto. Of course, Russell's gone. We must have played Fresno. This is a municipal stadium. You gotta be in here because I was managing the team.
Unless you're taking a picture.
No, it had to be someone else. This must be Takabo. Clothes. The big Kikuchi. He lives in Las Vegas now. He played baseball at the Warriors with all those professional major leaguers up in one of the naval stations. Yeah. He played baseball at San Jose State. That's what it looks like. Look at his J.
So right after the war, you didn't have access to the stadium. Is that right? Arrangements hadn't been made, or was the stadium not ready yet?
I don't even remember that, whether the stadium was in existence or not. And I can't even remember how we found out it was available and that we availed ourselves of using that ballpark, but it was a real fine ballpark. And like I say, that was his baby boy. He really took care of it.
Now, which one is your brother here? One of these guys along here?
This looks like they might be fuzzy, you know. That more should be in here too someplace. This must be Chia, presumably. Well, I don't see one in here. They sure can't spot. This one, I think this is the first year when we got this pinstripe uniform like the Yankees. With solid blue socks. navy blue socks. In fact, we even had undershirts, so blue, solid navy blue sleeves, a complete uniform.
Provided by the YBA.
Yeah, bought by the YPA.
Well, how are we doing, Steve? How are we doing on time? Close.
So,
Are we done interrogating the prisoner?
yeah, right. I think so. Do these things bring back a lot of good memories, bad feelings, good feelings?
Well, I see these things, I look to see if I recognize anybody, but no, they don't bother me anymore. I think there was a time when I wouldn't want to look at them.
Like right after you got back, or?
Yeah, for about 20 years I didn't want to talk about the war or think of anything about it. You see, the guys tell you, actually you do have nightmares. And the strangest thing with me was that I've never ever strafed by an airplane. But in my nightmare, I'm always being strafed by an airplane. I'm in this little ditch, the plane's coming down at me, and I see the machine gun spurting, and I'm crawling like mad to get out of there. And the harder I try, the more I keep sliding back. And just before I hit, I wake up. Cold, sweat. Never wanted to talk about war. And, you know, people that never went, they're curious, they want to know what it was like. Never want to talk. Now it don't matter. It doesn't matter to talk about it. But I gave talks to the white people's Boy Scouts and stuff. One of the scouts had to go to Bellarmine. He asked me to go to Bellarmine and talk to his class over there, which I did. It's okay now, but I think it's true with a lot of people. And that's why, like in Hawaii, now they're starting to talk, and they keep saying, well, why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you tell me, Dad, you know? Well, that's probably the reason. And now they're starting to talk, I'm sure, so they can leave oral history.
Like that dream about the strafing the plane, that was just the same dream.
Over and over, it's always the same. It's the same nightmare every time. Never again. And like I said, I was never ever straight by there. So I don't know why that. Maybe that was a subconscious fear I had all the time, you know. What would I do if I got straight by there? And this narrow ditch is the worst place to be.
Because they can just trace you right along.
Yeah. They can follow the ditch easy on there.
Did you see that documentary they did? What was it called? Honor Bound.
Wendy.
That was pretty good. You know, the interview.
Yeah.
What do you think of it? Did that kind of parallel a lot of your?
When that thing first there, I made a copy and sent it to my friend in Seattle, and he showed it to all his friends up there, especially those El Company guys. They thought it was the best that was ever made.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, because, you know, before that, I never heard, you know, you see guys talking too much about their experiences or stuff like that. I mean, it seemed pretty good. It was good to hear their side of the story and not just what happened or what their feelings were about things.
Yeah, you notice in that one there, she asked the one guy about, do you think you were sent up for your expendable son? And he said, don't ask that kind of question.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so they still, so he's
There's some resentment. Some guys have some resentment.
Some of those guys, they probably think, yeah, they were expendable, so they were shoved up there. I don't know, they might be right. I just happen to hold an opposite view, that's all. But that was it. It was a good end that day. Those guys, those are all El Company guys that were sitting around there chewing the fat. bring out some of those. You see that guy that was shot right through here?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Camped off. The people need to see those things. Because we had a guy named Terry Mikato. He lost a leg. I don't know how. He lost a leg. In Honolulu, a lot of times, this was many years ago, he'd stand out in the street and he'd turn his false leg backwards. And he'd just stand there. People come by and stare at him. They wonder, what the hell did I do? Here's the funny story of these guys. I mean, I thought it was wonderful, like I company guys. We had, most I had 3, 4 guys that had artificial limbs. And one of the reunions, we were out on a picnic like. And then they said, hey, okay, he says, all you Mumu guys, we're going to have a race. Well, Mumu, he's crippled. So all these guys get out there and they have a race. Running with on the artificial leg, you know. I thought that was really great. I think we lost all of them except one term. Cut was only one alive. We had one guy that had lost one arm and one leg. Had to shake hands with his left hand. He was out there running. I remember he was running in that race. He's the guy that told me one time he went fishing and his friend set him out on a rock. He was fishing away. And pretty soon the tide come up, the waves got bigger, he was getting splashed and he can't get up, he can't stand up by himself. He's hollering for his friend to come. Finally the guy did come and get him out of there. He said, you know what? He says, my false legs start to squeak. Got so what on the hinges. You know, I thought it was sure great the guys could talk about their disabilities like that. Make fun.
Did you make like friendships during the war when you were with these guys that were?
Yeah,
really...
well, in my case, you know, it was a little bit different because I trained with B Company. And we trained with them from, well, I went in the Army late July and trained with them till about early April. And what they had done was, when the 100th got bagged up, they had taken replacements from our 1st Battalion. So all the companies were pretty well decimated. They weren't at full strength. So they took people from the 1st Battalion and sent them down to 2nd and 3rd Battalions and made the companies oversized. Because at that time, we didn't know about it. But obviously, it was the Army's plan to make the 100th our 1st Battalion. And they left the rest of those guys at Shelby as cadre. So I went down to I Company just before we shipped out, like about a month before we shipped out. So the only guys I really got to know well was guys in my own squad, which is 12 men. And you knew the other guys in your platoon, the other 24 guys, but you didn't really know them that well. And then when you wanted to go to the front, you're with your own guys, your own squad all the time, so there's the only guys you know. So most of the friends I now have are made after the war. That were I Company. But that's one thing, you know, I took a golf group to Hawaii one time, many, many years ago. And one of the remarks that Harry Yoshioka made, he says, gee, you 442 guys are sure close. He just observed that, you know. And yeah, I guess so, because you do forge real strong links of friendship when you're up there. The hell, your life depends on each other. Or having had the common experience increases your bond of friendship too.
I imagine it's only another guy who's been through the same thing that really understands.
They know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, I could kind of tell you guys, you ever hear this, you know, what the scream of a 88 coming at you, how it sounds like? You won't know. You never could explain it. You have to hear it yourself. It's frightening, boy. Or when the bullet goes by close, man, it snaps. Just like you know how it is when you crack a wet towel? Something just like that when the bullet's close. When you hear it hum, it's nowhere near you. I had one crack in my ear back for 5 days. That was close. That one was close. The other times, you know, you feel buzzing over your head, whistling by. It's nothing. And it's amazing. You think you'd be scared. You're not when you hit those things. After you get used to it for a while, you're not that scared.
But like when you heard that one crack, after you got back back in camp, it didn't bother you?
No. By that time, you're pretty well experienced out there, and you know what.
You kind of develop an attitude. If it's going to get you, it's going to get you.
Yeah, that's right.
If
If your number's up, it's up. If it's not, it's not. That's everybody's attitude. If you don't, you're going to go nuts. If everything bothers you, you go what they call Section 8. Combat. That's what I always marvel at, the human mind, how that thing could adjust to all these. You know, all your life you're told to respect other people's lives, their lives are sacred and all that. And then put a gun in your hand, they tell you to shoot the other guy. And you can do it. Some guys can't, some guys couldn't, and those are poor guys that I feel for them. They're the guys that went out of their mind. They just couldn't do that. Or there was a guy in our company, he was a medic from somewhere up in the Seattle area. And we were getting shelled one time, and I see him digging a hole, and he's white. His face was just white, and he's perspiring, digging like mad. But the shell had been going over our heads, so there was nothing. It happened that I was on the front line, and our guys were trapped down below. There's some guys down in the ditch. And we had a firefight there, and we couldn't budge, because beyond that was open ground, and the Germans were across the little ditch there behind the stone fence. We couldn't expose ourselves, so I laid over on my back because my neck got tired, you know, looking up like this, being on your belly. Jeez, I forgot my pack. It was about 1,000 yards back on the top of the hill where we had been before we moved down. So I told my sergeant, hey, I forgot my pack. We're going to have to dig in pretty soon. The smoke shells are coming in, you know. That means their artillery trying to get the range on us. So we're going to have to dig in. So I'm going to go get my pack. I stood up, and that bullets are coming over. And I stood up. After I thought about it, I had cold sweats. But I went back and got it. And that's when I saw this guy digging. And I heard the next day they had to take him back. Combat. And I seen that guy, shells coming in, running to wounded guys and taking care of them. So I thought, gee, that guy, he must have really been going through hell when he was doing his job. He was so scared, yet he did his job. And I told that on the bus when we toured Italy. I think a guy like that should get a medal. Not the guy who does heroic deeds because he's not as scared or he just did it. But here's a guy that was scared and still, you know, he performed. But the poor guy, I don't think he ever got anything. I think he deserved a medal. And that, I tell you, I don't know if I should be taking up all your time, but the third day of combat, we were in a town called Sasetta. We were up on top of the hill, and the Germans supposedly were knocked out of the town below us. And our company got split. Some of the platoon was down below. We were up on top. And I don't know why we didn't have any other organization, but the German was right on our side. They weren't out of the town. They were right there on the side. Yeah. That's where I killed my first man. Sure felt bad for a long time. But that night we had to go on out, those three of us. We had a little hill like this, you know. scattered three different points on this little mountain hill. And I'm in the middle. And I'm sleepier now, and I'm dozing, and I wake up. All of a sudden, I hear snoring on my left. Crawl over there. Hey, wake up. Come back to my foot. I hear snoring on the right. I crawl over there. And then, you just about dozing, and all of a sudden you wake up, and I swear, you see a bush out there. Exact shape of the German helmet. Scared the hell out of you, boy. I never slept that whole night. I mean, I dozed, I could wake up. And I tell everybody, that night, I had all the scaredness scared out of me. I should never ever again be scared again. Oh, I was scared, man. Every time you doze off, you swear it was a German coming up that way. And those guys were snoring on my right and left. Yeah, that was some night. Actually, yeah, I think after that, they did the shelling and everything. Yeah, you duck and you try to take cover, but I was never scared as I was that night.
When you have nights like that, do you try and get like cat naps during the day, the next day when you can, or sometimes you can't?
Well,
it just depends.
No, we never did sleep. It's an odd thing, you know. I don't ever remember sleeping during the day. Although there's a lot of time you just stop and you dig in wherever you. We never used to dig in first when we were green troop ships, you know. We just stopped and we lay around, take it easy until we got shelled. Boy, after that, every time we stopped, we dug a hole. In fact, one time I remember that time, there was a ridge to my left, and the Germans were shooting what do you call it, kind of fire going off their back like this. You know. They're raking that hill, that ridge, and I'm over here, and they're getting closer and closer. I started to dig, you know, entrenching tool. You know what they're like? They're just a little thin shovel like that with a handle. They could bend this little straight. Well, I hit a root about that big, man. I chopped right through that damn thing. I don't know where I got that tree. I chopped it. The fire was coming close, traversing fire. And when that little bit, I hit a rock. I dug right around that damn rock, so I could lay in there, curled around the rock. In training, we hit something like that, we used to move, find a softer place. But up there, I had no time back there, just dig. And another time I was scared. I was scared pretty dirt, boy.
Sure.
Because that damn fire, it stopped though. It stopped before it got to where I was coming. But that traversing fire caught K Company, CP. And the captain went crazy. He lost his crew. They had to take him back. But this whole CP got shot up. Everybody got killed. This first sergeant and those. Good thinking.
So part of the thing with the traversing fire, I mean, it doesn't have a tracer around it, right? You just can see the live rounds hitting the dirt.
You can see it explode. Yeah, explode. When it explodes, you see the fire, smoke come out.
So that's really kind of to keep people down and also...
Yeah, well, they know, they must have figured that we must be in that bridge there somewhere, and so they just covered that whole thing. And hope that they're going to get some right. They did. They know, like in Barriers too, the guys told me that there's a hill right behind the town, a round hill, and there's like a water tank right up on top. Right now it's all full of trees. But you see, at wartime that thing was completely bare. But the Germans figured that the guys were going to be in there, and they blasted that place all to hell. And the guy told me, he said, we were going to go there, and see, the company commander decided, no, so we're going to, the fire would be a German target, so we won't go there. They went to an open field and stayed in a farmhouse. They never got shelled, but that hill got blasted. Well, the Germans, they were retreating, so they knew what was what in the place that they left. And they have it all zeroed in on their maps, the coordinates are on their maps. So they could fire with a lot of accuracy. We're going forward. We don't know those areas, they took their aerial maps. And whenever we reached a point where we were going to go to, and we looked back and said, Jesus Christ, they could have seen us coming up all the way. You know, we thought we were taking the covered route, but boy, from up on top of the hill, you could see the ditches, you could see down in there. Okay. Well, are we all through now?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
This was more like a World War II thing than...
Yeah. That's interesting stories there. Did you know the kid, right?
Yeah.
What